Hello, my name is Walter, and I'm going to be presenting what I've learned this week. Um, so this week I've learned how to bind and combine binding and how to, I'm just going to go give you a tour of the website here real quick. This is if you add a server name and it will tell you if the server is offline or online. So it's the server you're going to add. And you'll create a new server and it's going to show if it's going to give you an ID. If it's above 5, it's going to show online. If it's below 5, it's going to show as offline. And you can add server 2 and then 4, 3, and you will keep adding. Also, what I've learned this week is to add the username here, and you can just add a username like you'll create a username and add a button to clear. Here we'll display the details for it. Well, it was supposed to be below 5, gonna be white, but that is clearly not working correctly. It was working this morning. Anyhow, I'm just gonna show you here through the code here for a little bit. We have the components, which we have the import components on it. We have to export the server and the implementation. This is to set up a timeout for the button. So when so after like a few seconds, the button will be available to you. And let's go back here. And this is to do a created server, and then you will just input the server name, and then this will just output the server that you are putting in the input field. And here we have like the labels of the server. This is how the input is created. We're using the ng model here to get the server name. Once it gets the server name, this is just bootstrap button. So primary means it's blue. If you put success, it will be green, and so forth. And we set to disable, and it will have that disable function that it will be disabled for the few seconds and then come back on. We have the click. This will create, once you click the button, you create the on create server. We'll just add that server for you. And here we'll just output the server saying server was created, server name, and you'll get the server name that you have created in the input right here. So you will display the server name here. And then you will continue on by putting the servers. The username, it's almost the same. We have I put 2 lines there to make it a little bit nicer. So label the username, class formation, the same ng model to get the input for the username. And it gets the username button, it's the same. Now, here's a little bit different. So username will be empty in the first string. So there will be no username created when you make a username, when you load the web page. And then on click, we'll create the username, very similar to what the server will create. This will show the status of the creation, and you will give the ID. And another button, disable username. Username is empty. Just then on click, we'll create the username. And if you in this button here, actually, sorry, will clear the username. So that's why we have a comparison here. And this will, and then when we on click, we will set the username to blank. So when we go to the username here, we type a name, type my name. If we had clear, we'll set that string. Let's go back to the coding. We'll set this string like it will be equals to nothing. So that's how we clear the username. Now we're gonna go see what else do we have there. And then in here we have the username. And then the app component, we have just a few things there. And this will display the log of the items. So we can see like the log right here. So we add the server, it will display another log and it will create a new one. Or if you add the username, it will create one. And then you can display the details right here. Now let's jump to the project. So we'll stop this. And we're gonna go to the project. So cd shopping list. And then we're gonna go ng serve. It's gonna generate a new one for it. And if we go here, now this is a totally different web page. We're creating a new recipe. So for right now, we have most of the links not working. It's just to show it's there, but nothing's being added, deleted, or cleared as of right now. But let's go to the coding for that. Shopping list, source, app. So we have the recipes part, which we had to create a model for the recipe. So to create this model, we had to go put the name, description, image path, and create a construction for it. There are two ways to do that. If you just, you can erase all of this and then just put public in front of it on all of the names, and it will create that for you. I didn't like using that, so I just did this because I understand more of what's going on in the background. But it's a way to create your array. Here we have the recipe components. It's just running the recipe details and the recipe list. Let's go to the recipe list here. So in the list, we had to create a little array here to add the list recipes. And we had to import recipes from the recipes model. And the recipes model is right here. And it has pretty much the same information with the recipes right there. So, and then let's see, recipe components, and you create a new recipe array there. And in this new recipe, we had to put the name, which is this name right here. And we had to put what the recipe was, and then the picture of the recipe, which in this case, we are only using strings because the image path is actually a string to the image. And once we come to the recipe list here, this is how we set up this part right here, the creme brulee and the chocolate pudding. And we just created a div class using Bootstrap. We just create columns that will auto adjust. And then we created a anchor with the list and clear fix, so it looks correct. And then we create this ng4 so we can reference the recipes. So the ng4, you type in recipe. So you're going to be using recipe of recipes, which is the name, which is this name right here, which is this name right here. So if we go back here, sorry, this name right here, the in blue. And if we go back, so now we can use recipes as a reference. And in here, this is what we're gonna be recipe. So when we put in between the brackets, it's gonna, we can reference that recipe dot name. So we can see the recipe dot name, and in the recipe description, which is like the second piece of it. And then here also, this is where we get the image. So we have the image path, which is this path right here, or this one right here. And we have the, and then we put the recipe name, so we know which name is the, which image is going to bring it up. And then the classes, we put just image responsive, and that's a Bootstrap class. And then we set the max size for it. So if we go over here, we have all this, and that's it's not linked to anything. And also we created the shopping list. So we're just gonna talk about like this part right here. It's a very similar way of creating the recipes, these recipes right here that I just explained. But in this case, we have the ingredient model. And where's the ingredient? It's under share. So we have the ingredient model. In this ingredient, we're using a string and a number. So it's a little bit different, but you get what's going on there right now. And on the list, it's pretty much the same. We import the ingredients from the model there, model shared. And then we, in here, we create a new array. Right now, we only have 2 items there, and the amount. And very, very similar as of the other one. It's just different Bootstraps CSS we're using here to look a little bit different. The same way to reference, just using the ng4, so like ingredients. So we're going to be using ingredients of ingredients, which is on the ingredients over there. So we just put the ingredient name, so that will display the name, ingredient amount, and that will display the amount. And that's the app here. You can change the amount. We can't do much with that yet. So that's what we have now. And that's the video that I have for today. Thank you very much. Bye.